Hello and welcome to another episode of the Big Money Stylist Podcast. I was going to say a new episode. I feel like we haven't done an episode in like months.
You know, someone actually DM'd me and they're like, "Where are your new episodes?" I was like,
"Because we've been so busy. We just finished our first DKW Styling Academy virtual convention."
It was amazing.
I thought it went so good. Like you know what's so weird is before 2020, I actually moved to kind of a more of an online model. So anybody who comes and takes one of my Natural Beauty Rose classes, they can come into the DKW Styling Academy. And we did like a shit ton of events last year.
Dude, we did
so many, and they're fun, but they're very exhausting. And then this year we moved everything, like the entire academy training was through it was online, and it actually gave the students way better results faster.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to do a live convention, but with everything going on, we weren't able to do it. But I still think the convention was like, it was 3 days, but it was almost like 6 days of content. Like it was a lot of content.
It was so
but
much
it was good.
content because like half the days were split between BMS, which is like the business marketing and sales, and then the other half was split with NBR. So it was just like, it was constant. We still had breaks. Everyone was walking up, running around, but it was just so much that happened in 3 days.
And it was fun.
I loved it. Look, the students loved it. We've been getting raving feedback on it. This is something that it's so weird to say like we didn't want to do it because we love live events. Yeah. And that's really what it is. We love our live events.
But how well this went, I was like, next year I want to do both.
Oh yeah.
Like I wasn't like this year I was like, oh man, but now I'm like, next year I'm like, this is like another thing that we can offer that I think more artists can be a part of. In fact, we have our big one to the public. So that was my academy. That's a private academy that you join. But now we have a public one coming up when? December 1st?
December 2nd, December 2, 3, 4.
Which after doing this one and seeing like the feedback that the artists were getting, I'm so excited for the public one. And the public one this is where they get an invitation to join the academy as well. So
well, and it's super cool because even inside of the one in December, we're still doing live models. I've talked to like our guy behind the scenes who created it, and I was literally like, this needs to be perfect. And he looked at me, he was like, oh. I was like, no, perfect though.
You're like, amazing.
There can't even be one small snafu. And he goes, okay, I'll be right back.
No, I'm excited. So for those of you that listen to this podcast weekly and that are coming to our December event, I have no doubt that you guys are just going to go into 2021 just ready to conquer the world. So every week on our podcast, we're like, what do we want to talk about? What do the artists need to hear? What is going on in your salons, in your home life, in your worlds? Like, are you that person that's kind of stayed in the same spot for the last 6 months, year, 2 years? Maybe you don't even want to do hair anymore. Like, where?
You know what I think it is, though? And I feel like, not that this bugs me, but sometimes it just fucking bugs me. That people think, oh, well, the more money I make, or the better it gets, or the more popular I get, I should be working less. It should be easier.
Right.
And I feel like, yeah, some things will be easier. You might have an easier time getting clients, or color might be easier. You might be making more money. But I feel like people, and I can also say artists, because that's who we work with, they assume that there comes a day where you never have to hustle again.
Right.
And like I couldn't disagree with that more.
But you know what's so funny? Even like I have told Garrett, like the idea of retiring sounds really boring. I'm like, wait,
what do you do?
What do you do? Like imagine just paint the story that you're like, I'm a bazillionaire. And you're like, I can do whatever I want. I'm like, shoes are only so satisfying for that long. Like
it's only satisfying for the 20 minutes you do it and the first outfit you wear it.
I find like that amount of success doesn't necessarily equal like happiness, right?
No, it's not.
And I find that so many people are just like trucking along like, I just can't wait to retire. I just can't wait to retire. I'm like, do you think you're going to be happier when you retire?
Like, what are you
gonna do? Like, I just like, to me, I'm like, that like gives me anxiety, like thinking about it.
Well, and even in that, even for, I mean, obviously we still work now, but I feel like everyone thinks it's just going to get easier. And like I said, parts will, but we always call it like seasons of hustle.
Right.
Like there will be seasons in your life where it's going to get busier, it's going to get crazier, it's going to get harder than potentially it ever has been before. And I do believe it'll get harder than it ever has been because as you grow and evolve as a human being,
your expansion.
Yes, you're expanding and your capacity is growing and the problems you're encountering are problems that you've never faced. So they feel harder.
Heavier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we start in a season of hustle and then we're like, oh my God, my life's a disaster. I'm going to fucking quit everything. Like it turns into so many shenanigans as opposed to just being like, it's not always going to be this way.
Right. I think that for me, like there's been times though in my life where I felt so overwhelmed where I'm like, I can't continue to go on this path where it was just like years of hustle where you're like, I'm not only is like, am I physically exhausting, my bank account's not reflecting what I want it to be. Like I have no time with my family and my kids and my husband. Like I have no time for me. Like literally I'm like, I'm so tired of working so hard and not even getting the outcome that I want. And when you're hustling that way, you're like, shit, something has got to change. And I think a lot of us in our industry, we're just like, fuck it, I don't want to do hair anymore, right? But that doesn't mean that you won't go into another job with those same problems and find that you're always hustling. And so you have to really set yourself up to like, okay, yes, you're going to have seasons of hustle. Because that's how I feel now. Like I've built my business up to the point where I'm like, people just assume I work like a psychopath, right? And I'm like, no. When I was working like a psychopath, I actually felt like my business was not that successful. And now I've set it up to where I'm like, I have seasons of hustle where I can like, I made a comment or I made a post on my Instagram and I said something like, yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom and an entrepreneur, da 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 da.
You got like raked through the mud for saying you're a stay-at-home mom.
So I had like comments people could said, you're anything but a stay-at-home mom. I'm like, excuse me? I drop off my kids every single day. I pick up my kids almost every single day. I'm with my baby like every morning. Do we have events and am I still in the salon one day a week? Yes, but all the rest of the time, I'm very much at home with my children because I've built my business to that level. And even then, even if I'm working with stuff at home, I'm still very much a stay-at-home mom. And so I didn't say anything. I was kind of like, what is a stay-at-home? I like somebody who came back in and they go, well, what is your version of a stay-at-home mom? Because today's stay-at-home mom is not, 10 years ago stay-at-home mom. You know what I mean? And so for me, when I say a stay-at-home mom, I think of it as like, I'm very much involved with my children. Am I an entrepreneur? Am I a stay-at-home mom? And that's why I'm like, you can have it all. And everybody's version of having it all people think, no, you can't have it all. I'm like, well, what is your version of having it all look like?
Well, and so I'll say I did see those comments and I think there was like one comment actually from a person, but I was so surprised that I'm like, first off, I didn't know we had a fucking monopoly on what was allowed to be called a stay-at-home mom and what wasn't. And why can't the definition of things be like redone and remade over time?
Well, I think a lot of working women feel guilty for working like they don't even consider that they can do both, right? They're like, oh, nope, my path is I chose to be a mom. I'm just going all in it to win it for my kids. And that's what I am. And it's so funny because I've actually been surprised by myself with how much I've been able to accomplish. And I very much believe that I am a stay-at-home mom. Like, literally, like I can have those conversations with businessmen and I'm women and I can have those conversations with stay-at-home moms and I feel like I'm literally living the best of both worlds. I'm like, who said that you had to pick?
Yeah. Well, and even talking about like seasons of hustle and things like that, I think you have to have almost like an understanding, or you have to have enough of like a far reach of vision to really know like, am I hustling towards something that doesn't work for me? Am I hustling and like running around the circle and running myself ragged for something that I'm going to quote unquote get there and hate it? Or am I going to have to work extra hard now, bust my ass, hustle a little more to be able to like get out of there? It's almost like quicksand. Like, are you in quicksand and you're just like, get me out,
I think of a hamster wheel.
Yeah, and I almost think like, I guess like quicksand for me because like you're sinking and like you're gonna fucking burn out and die one day. Like that's like you can't make it forever. But if you're almost like paddling towards shore and you're like, okay, I can make it there. I feel like that's important to understand the difference.
We have so many artists that are in quicksand or on that hamster wheel, and they're like, I don't know how to get out. And I love that a couple weeks ago you were like, I hate when people tell me they're too busy. Right? I'm too busy to do this. I can't do this. I can't make changes. But what you're currently doing is not giving you the outcome that you want. So you have to change. Like when I've gotten to that place of burnout like with work and stuff, I'm like, fuck it. And I wanted the guilt to come in. I remember one night, like literally being on the floor, like sobbing. Like I was like, I'm an awful mom. And I had this story that I need to pick. Either you're a fucking mom or you're going to be an entrepreneur or you're going to do this. And I was like, all the guilt said, nope, you just need to be a mom. You just need to be a mom. And I remember this moment that was like, how dare you? It was like my higher voice or whatever you want to say. It was like, how dare you like sell out like this? And I was like, okay. And when I had this like experience, I was like, you know what? Then I need to change the stories of how I'm operating and this guilt of like, I have to pick this or that. And I need to figure out how I can do both and feel like a phenomenal mom and feel like a phenomenal business owner. I really had to like rewrite what society told me that I should do. And I was like, okay, if I want to be home with my children more, what are the steps that I have to do to get set that up and to get there? And it's just crazy because if we continue to hustle on the hamster wheel, it doesn't work. But we always have artists that come to us and they're like, well, what do I need to do?
Well, and and that's why I say, I think you have to like kind of have that come to Jesus moment and really realize, are you working so hard to something you don't want and it's time to let go of something, like let go? Or are you working hard and busting your ass for the eventual outcome that you're looking for and you just have to hold on? Right. And sometimes it's like, I got to hold on for dear fucking life right now. And it's okay, but it's just for a season. It's not forever. And let me say, there will also be times where you're like, dude, I made it past my quicksand. I made it back to shore. Everything is good. I'm laying on the beach. I have my mimosa, your margarita, whatever. And then it's like, wait, oh, there's another hurricane. Okay, we're going to go back into hustle season. Oh. And that's why it's like, but it's like the hustle, it's not just a one-time thing.
So I'll give you an example. So a lot of artists that are like just killing themselves. I'm like, okay, well, your first step is maybe something as simple as hiring an assistant. Well, I can't do that. Then I have to take all this time training. Then I'm like, you can give me every excuse in the world, but you're not going to get any faster of what you're currently doing. And the only way to give a better experience and to get faster is to hire help. And guess what? Sometimes you have to take 2 steps back to take 4 steps forward, which means you're going to have to slow your ass down and you're going to have to train this assistant to set you up, because maybe even eventually you're going to pass clients onto them and you're going to take a commission cut. So we constantly want to tell ourselves these stories and give ourselves excuses to why we can't make changes, but you'll never have these moments of hustle and then relax and hustle and relax. You'll never have that freedom and flexibility if you can't really evaluate where you're at right now, what's working and what's not working. And one of the things I wanted to talk about on this podcast too is facts over feelings. Like, I mean, there's seasons of hustle, but then with every great decision that we choose to make in life, it all comes down to facts and feelings. Especially, I don't know how men operate, but women.
I know some pretty emotional men.
Yeah, that's true. Guys are big babies, let's be honest. But like, honestly, like how many times do we get sucked into a feeling that we're like, I can't because of this emotion or the feeling. And when you weigh out the facts and you see, it's almost like a light bulb goes on. You're like, oh.
But I think the problem is, especially if I feel like women are emotional, men are emotional. Some men and women are more emotional than others. But the thing is, you can't take a feeling and brand it as a fact.
Right.
A feeling is a fucking feeling. Like, even if... Like, as an example, if someone were to come up to you and be like, why have you been mad at me the past few weeks? And you're like, the fuck?
Yeah,
I haven't. Oh, well, it just felt like, and it's like, that feeling didn't even come from me. Like, that came internally from you. Like, things like that I feel have to be addressed. But you have to be very careful that a feeling of, I can't do this, I can't charge this, I can't go there, no one's gonna like me, I'm not good enough. Those are all fucking feelings. Like, is there anything actually backing that up? Like, that's not how it works. So once you're really able to take the time to go through and say, okay, where am I at inside of my life? What's going on with my body, inside of my being, with work, with literally everything? It gives you kind of like that base and foundation where then you can make decisions based off of where you're actually at, not a feeling.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times we operate in feelings, and I can think of 2 specific examples off the top of my head, and one of them just goes back to my fitness journey lately. And I had a baby and I lost the weight fairly quickly. It took me about like 6 months to lose the weight, and then I got to this place where I was like, I don't really like my shape, but I feel like I'm like eating as good as I know how. I feel like I'm working out really hard, and then I was like thinking maybe I'll do a fitness competition. And I would look at photos of women and I'd be like, I can't. You need to just be happy with where you're at. You can't. And I got to this place where I'm like, no, fuck that. Like, I want to see what I can do. And I realized that these feelings were dictating what I could do even with my own body. And I was like, okay, so let's put aside those feelings and that scariness of things, and let's maybe see where this goes and see what's going to happen. Another story that I have is relating to artists behind the chair. I remember I always worked Saturdays, and I actually started to get quite a few clients fly into me on Saturdays, and I've shared this story, in my internal networks and things like that. But I remember one day being really sad that I couldn't go with my kids to the park or wherever they were doing that day, and I'm like crying, and Garrett's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm so fucking sick of working Saturdays. He goes, and stop. And I was like, no, I'm a hairdresser. Like, we work Saturdays. He goes, no, stop. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, cancel your appointment today. I go, well, she's flying in, so I'm going to honor that appointment. But honestly, I was like, but can I? Like, he gave me permission. And when he gave me permission, I immediately started looking things based on facts instead of feelings. I was like, okay, in 2 weeks, I have a client flying in again, but I don't want to work any more Saturdays. And I was like, so what could I do if I get out of my feelings about this? What could I do? And I'm like, well, if she's already booked her flight, I'll say, sorry, I'm not available that day. I'm happy to change your flight fee change or whatever it is. And literally, it's crazy. That Saturday, I canceled the rest of I was booked out for the rest of the year. It was like in the fall. I canceled every fucking Saturday. And I went into this frame of like logic of like, I didn't feel like I had to emotionally explain myself. I feel like as artists, we're like, because.
There doesn't have to be a reason.
You start backpedaling, right? And I literally was like, I'm choosing to focus on my family on Saturdays, and I'm no longer accepting guests. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Here are the days that I am available. Please let me know which one works with your schedule, because I got out of my fucking feelings about it.
And that's
I got really aggressive on that.
Who are you talking to? I couldn't care any less. And that's why I think it's just important to not only differentiate facts from feelings, but also know, even if you think that you've quote unquote made it, you're still going to have to hustle sometimes. You're going to have to work a little bit harder. I feel, especially as like social media changes and everything that we do like keeps growing and evolving, that also means that you have to grow and evolve. And even like when it comes to facts and feelings, like it's not even just like, it's not just business all the time. It could be friendships that you're like, oh, no, like we've been friends for so long, like we have to stay being friends, or even things like that. That's not necessarily true. There are sometimes people that you have to cut out, or people that you have to bring onto the team, or even if you're upset with someone, sometimes you have to really say, the reason I'm upset, is it even true? Or did something happen and I started telling myself some shit in my head and now I've dubbed that story to be true?
Well, it's so interesting because I shared this again with my students. I was like, listen, there was a moment when I felt like I was like just questioning life and who I am and what's going on. And I felt like I needed to like tune out the noise, which included a lot of the friends that I was hanging out at that time and even some of my own family. And it wasn't like I was like, you're dead to me. I was just like, okay, I need space now. I need to remove myself from this situation for now so that I can really hone in where I'm at, who I am, what I want to do, and kind of tune out the noise. And that doesn't mean like you're dead to me forever. It just means like, hey, right now I need a little bit of separation. And it actually was super healthy. Like now I felt like now I have a great relationship with some of my old friends and family and things like that. But I physically had so many stories going on in my head and so many feelings about where I was at in life that I was projecting that upon other people. And I was like, I need to like bow out for a minute, I guess.
Well, and it's even inside of the academy, we have something called a fact map where we literally look at 4 areas of your life: body, being, balance, and business. And we have the students essentially create a plan of like, here's where I'm at today, here's where I want to be in a year, and then but for right now, to make it to that ultimate year-end goal, here are like 4 things I know I have to do. I'm always fascinated when I read the fact maps, and it's because you have to write a measurable goal. Like it has to be something that has no feelings inside of it. It's like, did you do it? Yes, or did you do it? No. If you're trying to write an excuse of like, oh, well, kind of, but no, but yes,
it's
well,
black
then
and
it's
white.
a fucking no.
Yeah.
And they always write things like, be happier. And I'm like, there's no fucking happy scale.
Yeah.
I can't measure your happiness.
What does happy look like
what
for you?
What the fuck does that look like? And so then I'm always like, no, like you have to go back and redo it, because you need to know at the end of this time, because we're so hard on ourselves as humans that we make progress, but then we're like, oh, it wasn't enough progress, or I'm a failure, I fucking suck. And so if people don't have measurable goals, yes, I did it, no, I didn't, then they stay in this mode of like, I suck, I'm terrible, I'm never gonna make it. And then they dive deeper into like the black fucking pit of feelings because they've never given themselves almost like that little light to cling to, like, yes, I'm doing this, I'm on the right track.
Well, it's so interesting too to me. Like I even find people that are saying like, I hate where I live, I'm stuck here. I'm like, Are you stuck there? Like, I'm like, you moved across the country. I moved so many times in the last like 10 years. But it's so crazy because we even get stuck in situations where we have so many feelings about like, poor me, I'm here. And this, I'm like, no, you can pack up. What does that look like? I don't know what that looks like for you. But if you start entertaining that option, and what are the facts of if you wanted to move, what does that look like to move, you know, from state to state? What do you need? What kind of a house or an apartment? How much money do you need saved? Like when you start looking at the facts of how you could make something possible, it allows you to dream so fucking big. And you do that time and time over again. All of a sudden you're like, wow, I saw a shit ton of progression in myself over the last 5 years because you set goals, you saw the facts, and you stepped outside of the feelings.
And that's just what's so important. And I'll say sometimes looking at the facts or trying to figure out a plan, it can get a little dark. Sometimes it might even be something like a divorce. If you know, like, you're not that happy, like that.
I wasn't trying to laugh at divorce.
I know.
I'll tell you in a second.
It's okay. Like, I'm not trying to be like all dark and gloomy, but it's true. Like, hey, divorce is a thing that happens. Like, it just is. And sometimes it's for really, really good reasons. But if you're sitting there, or even if it's like a business partnership that you know you need to dissolve, or someone that you know you need to fire, or you know you need to get divorced, or cancel your wedding, whatever it is, I know sometimes, and I've been there, I'm not divorced, but I did cancel my engagement. Like, you're sometimes there and you're like, this is such a big monster. I can't even tackle it. I don't even know where to start.
So we stay busy to distract us from what actually you need to do, as something as like, hey, this marriage is not working. I don't know. Maybe it does work, but you are ignoring what the elephant in the room, which is like, you don't maybe want to be married or with that person even.
And here's the deal. If you aren't able to handle the things that are happening to you personally because you're so fucking scared of moving forward, you're so fucking scared of taking a step or doing whatever because it's scary, you will take those feelings, you will take them, and you will project them onto your business. It could be your business partner, it could be a coach, it could be a trainer, it could be your assistant, and then all of a sudden you're going to start being a fucking dick to them because I've seen it happen time and time again. Now you're being an asshole to the people who are actually on your fucking side because you are unable and unwilling to look at the facts of where you are in your life and handle the shit that's in front of you, so your whole fucking life doesn't melt down.
I think that we get scared of, like, you know, fear itself. But
yeah, fear's fucking scary.
It is scary, but I feel like fear comes with change. And sometimes you stay in such an uncomfortable place because of this fear of change. And I used to be the same way. And in my experience is like, now when I kind of like take fear on, I'm like, okay, I don't look at it the same. Like, fear is just a word, right?
I feel like for me, I used to meet it with like, oh my God,
I'm so scared.
Oh my God.
Now it's like,
oh shit, I'm sweating.
It's scary, but you know, on the other side of it, you're like,
I feel like now I almost meet it with laughter. Like when we make business decisions where we're like, oh, we're going to redo all this. I'm like,
you're like,
okay.
Because you're like sweating a little bit. You're like, woo, like it's scary as shit, but you're like excited. And that's how I felt with my fitness thing. I was like, I didn't sign up for, like, I literally was like, I won't do it. I know I said I was going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't need a sparkly bikini or medal or whatever. And then I was like, no, you're fucking doing this. But the truth is, the reason I wasn't doing it is because I was scared. And I was like, no, I set a goal. I'm going to do it. And after I did it, I was like, that was scary as shit. And I feel like, I just feel like a new human being in a way. Like, I'm like, that was such an awesome experience. And so I think when you understand with it takes a little bit of fear to experience growth. Now, there's one thing that I find myself doing all the time. I'm like, I have to ask myself, Danielle, are you operating out of fear or are you operating out of guilt? Because I think sometimes we tell ourselves, like the story I told you guys before where I was like, I'm going to stop doing hair. I'm done. I need to be a mom. Guilt was telling me that story. It wasn't fear. I wasn't fearful at all. I had this story that I had to pick one or the other. And so I try to pay attention inside of myself. Like, am I operating because I feel guilty, or am I operating because truthfully I'm fearful? But along the other side of fear is a little bit of growth. And now I kind of step into it a little bit more excited. I was kidding when I started laughing. It was because I was like dying with the fact map. We were talking about vision boards.
I fucking hate vision boards. I hate vision boards.
We do what's called the fact map inside with our hairdressers, and I think a lot of people get misconstrued. They're like, well, but I got a pretty collage of photos, and what do they call it? A vision board?
Fuck your collage.
She hates them.
I hate them.
But because they're not, you know what I realize why you hate them? I hate them because they're ugly and they look like a 2-year-old did them. But you know why I think you hate them is because there's no logic behind it.
You're not doing anything. You're scrapbook from a fucking magazine.
And you're not even looking at, you're like, I want this pretty rainbow. But
what are you actually
you're not doing anything, and you're not looking at the facts of where you're at. And that's why you don't like them. Because
this is where I fucking see it all the time. When it's with fitness things where women will cut out photos of other women and glue it on a fucking board and be like, I'm gonna look like her. Cool. What's your plan? Do you have a nutritionist? Do you work out? Have you stopped eating Cheetos? What about fucking Oreos? Like, it drives me insane. I'm like looking at a picture.
I'm just gonna manifest it, Ani. I'm gonna manifest my big ass, and I'm gonna manifest these nice shoulders.
I'm a big believer of what you put out, you get back, and positive energy.
Right, but you gotta work for it.
But also, I'm not gonna wake up every day and be like, okay, losing 5 pounds today. Wait, what's for breakfast? yeah, I'll have like a breakfast burrito. But like it doesn't fucking work that way.
What if they have a collage?
Fuck collages.
And they also have a nutritionist? I mean, maybe.
Okay, fine.
No.
No, I still ain't your collage. Become your own inspiration, people. Like, learn to
There was
do
a
it
book,
yourself.
and I won't say the name of it. It was like years ago, and I was like, people are buying into this fucking bullshit. You can just go ahead.
Is it The Secret?
Damn it! I was like, I'm not even. I can't say. I remember like watched it. And I was like, you should punch yourself in the face now. But
Because it's like saying, and let me give you an example, because I know someone's going to be like, oh my God, there's no whatever. Okay, if you wake up every day and you're like, I'm going to win the lottery. I'm going to win the lottery. I'm going to win the lottery. But you never buy a fucking lottery ticket, you're never going to win the lottery.
Okay, this is the only time this manifestation works. Okay, because I will say, so there's been times like in work where I'm like, ooh, you know what? I'll have like a magical number pop in my head, right? I'm like, I think we're going to have 300 students at our next event, or I think we're going to have 270. Like it's really specific sometimes. Like I'll visualize, like it's almost like I see it. It's like I have a outer body experience where I'm like 278. That's our number. That's what we're going for. That's what we're going to get. But for me, it's almost like I saw it, I believed it, and then I worked towards getting that goal. You know what I mean? It wasn't like
I love working backwards.
Yeah, like I'm like, ooh, I want that. Now let's reverse engineer that. How do we get there? Because I already saw it and I know it happens. Like, do you ever have moments like that where you're like, I saw it. Like, it's not like we're already celebrating. We're on a beach. And I already saw that. Now I just got to figure out how to get there.
That's how I'm living for January 1st right now, based on all the shit we're changing, and something I was going to say, like, even when it comes to fear, I used to be like, oh God, this is bad. But now I literally just meet it with laughter, because I feel like we do so many things that are scary that seem literally like borderline impossible. Like we shouldn't be able to do these things some days. And we pull it off and I'm like,
and with our
right, we
team.
did.
I mean,
fuck yeah, we did.
I'll be like, man, there's only like 6 of us. Oh.
Katie and I were laughing the other day and she's like, do you realize this company is run by 3 30-year-olds?
That's not funny.
Yeah. Hey,
but also
actually crushing it.
So that's what I'm saying. If you would have told me like, Danielle, you can build this, but you need to let go a little bit and like just like see where this goes, I'd have been like, no, it's not fucking possible. Here's my stories. Here's my excuses. These are my feelings. I'm going to live in my feelings. It's fun to live in my feelings. Give me my fucking Cheetos. Like that wouldn't work. And I had gotten to this painful place in my life where I was like, okay, well, and I always ask myself, if what you're currently doing is not working, then you have to do something different. Like the end. Like you have to.
It's literally that easy.
All right, kids. That was fun. It was fiery. We are back. We're fucking back.
Fucking back.
If you want more information on our education, you can go to Big Money Style. You can go. Sorry, hold on. Let's redo that ending. Okay. If you guys want more information on our education, you go to bigmoneystylist.com. You can tune into our podcast every week. We try to keep it real, unscripted. Literally, Ani and I are like, what do we want to talk about? We always get a little bit fired up. But most people, if you like us, you like the fieriness, and you can catch us every week on iTunes. Go ahead and download it. Put it on your iPad.
iPad.
Just end it, Ani. I can't end it.
Thank you for listening to the Big Money Stylist podcast. If you ever have anything you want to hear us talk about, DM us, send us a message. We would love to hear from you. And guys, have a great week.
Have a great week.